Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video, I wanted to go over, per constitutional law, if it is a constitutional right, or a constitutional duty, of the President of the United States, in this case, President Donald Trump, to deprive people and immigrants of their due process rights of the Fifth Amendment and other due process rights. Let's get into some research that I did regarding that right now. Okay, so is it a constitutional duty, ladies and gentlemen, of the president to deprive someone of their civil rights? The simple question to that, ladies and gentlemen, is no. As you can see from the screen here, no. It is not a constitutional duty of the president to deprive someone of their rights. The Constitution protects rights, including due process, for this reason. And the president's power is limited by these constitutional protections. The Due Process Clause in the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment specifically prohibits the government from depriving individuals of life, liberty, and property without due process. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get a more detailed breakdown. Limitations on presidential power. The president has significant powers. They are not unlimited. However, the Constitution outlines specific powers and responsibilities for such branch of government. In this case, the president, ladies and gentlemen, or the executive branch. Separation of powers. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the separation of powers. The principle, ladies and gentlemen, of separation of powers ensures that no one branch of government has absolute authority. This helps prevent the abuse of power, including arbitrary deprivation of rights. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into judicial review. This is where you guys, where at least some of you supporters of of Donald Trump seem to be mistaking and misinterpreting. Judicial review, ladies and gentlemen. The courts, ladies and gentlemen, including the Supreme Court, have the power to review laws and actions of the president to ensure they are consistent with the Constitution. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, is where the reason why, the point behind me making this video for you guys today is so that way you guys understand, because some of you guys seem to not be understanding quite fully where and what judicial review is. Let's go over that again one more time in case you guys already forgot, which I'm pretty sure most of you have already, I would hope, taken notes on what judicial review is. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Judicial review. The courts, including the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, have the power to review laws and actions of the president to ensure they are consistent with the Constitution. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you did enjoy this video of the questionnaire of, does the president have the ability to deprive somebody or anybody of their due process rights? The simple answer, ladies and gentlemen, to that, as per described in the video, is no. And just because the president has immunity, it does not cover unconstitutional actions. And I frankly would have my bets on the Supreme Court agreeing with me that the president has no duty to deprive somebody of their due process rights, to which some of you proclaim that he was simply illegally denied in his trial of 34 of his 34 felony count conviction of due process rights. No, the hell he wasn't. He just specifically chose not to, and just decided to be heard at his sentencing. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that this clears, or at least attempts to clear, some questions and confusion that seems to be going on of the questions of whether One, is it a constitutional duty of the president to deprive somebody of their due process rights? And is it a constitutional duty of presidents to revoke any rights from anybody? Those answers were given in today's video. That is going to do it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed today's video, per constitutional law, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, as well as hitting the bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button below. It does not cost anything, and hitting the all notifications option. That way you're notified of every single breaking legal analysis video that I post once, twice, 4 times, 5 times, or even twice a day. Or even once a day onto the channel. Another way, ladies and gentlemen, that you guys can stay up to date on all the things you need to know about constitutional law and legal proceedings wise, you guys can also follow me on my social medias that I will have linked down below. I am on Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, as well as TikTok. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys would be so kind as to hit the bell icon, the subscribe button down below, and help this channel reach its overall goal of 150 plus subscribers, that would be great. The reason why I'm saying 150 subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers. Thirdly and lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please stay positive, please stay safe, and know that justice will prevail on the correct side of the law, despite Donald Trump and his illegal administration's illegal, unconstitutional efforts and unconstitutional behaviors and unconstitutional executive orders.